They want you to work forever.
The problem with what we're talking right here is if my wage doesn't increase because of wage deflation, right? My wage doesn't increase at the same pace as money is being printed. The cost for me to acquire all these assets that are supposed to give me these returns so I can retire one day becomes out of reach. Yep. Meaning I need to work forever, right? And so the reason
that's what they want you to do. They want you to work forever. Because the elites do not quantify things in units of dollars. They do not quantify things in units of money because they understand that money is simply an illusion. They quantify things in human energy because human energy is what creates things. Human energies is what creates civilizations, creates buildings, creates societies. So they measure things in proportion to human energy. That's why they create fiat. It's the greatest illusion of all time. Shout out to the guys that created fiat. Geniuses, bro. Geniuses. Like, I'm not gonna hate the game. Like, these guys finessed the entire world, and they created this thing out of illusion. And they said, okay, because back in the day, let's say we're in Egypt a couple thousand years ago. In order for somebody to build a pyramid, I would have to go pillage a village, go to another society, conquer them, bring them over as slaves, and make them work. We can even take the United States in the 1900s, even the 1800s, and when you had these cotton fields and these cotton farms, they would basically have to force the slaves into working. But that means your slaves are malnourished. That means they might be complaining. There might be dissidents. And instead of being like, let me crack a whip over their back, let me just create this false reality. Let me lie to them and make them work willingly for the next 70 years, assuming that in some way, shape, or form, they're gonna have enough to retire. We talk about the peasants in the 14th century, when you had the feudal lords and the peasants. The peasants were more peasants than the peasants were back in the day. The peasants only worked about 140 days out of the year. The rest of the year, they kind of fucked off and did whatever they want. Today, people work 50 weeks out of 52 weeks for the next 60 years, thinking that that's the norm, thinking that that's the standard. If you were in, let's say, a cycle of 400 years of slavery, and you were born in year 212 of that 400-year cycle of slavery, you would have no concept of what freedom is. You'd have no understanding of what it means to be free, autonomous, working for yourself, building your own ecosystem, building your own society, self-sustained with your own food. You would have no premise or understanding of freedom. That's where we are today. Fiat has created an illusion, what we call the infinite Tsukuyomi, right? Yep. It's a concept from Naruto, which is really funny, which is the fact that you feel like you're living in a utopia, but when you dissect everything, you realize that you're just a glorified slave with a couple things. Yeah, you might have Netflix, you might have a couple of things here and there, but when it's all said and done, you're not working for yourself. You're working for somebody else.